What is going on, guys? Today I'm be talking about characters that can appear in the popular Playtime movies. I'm also going to be talking about ones that should not even be in the movies because, there's only going to be 3 movies. Now, my first one is, why not bring Daddy Longlegs? I think this is a chance to explore his character more. We only seen like a picture of him, but I think we could see him in live action and show more of his character in there. Now, my next one is, why not bring in Boxy Boo? There's not much of a purpose for him other than, having a chase scene with him. And, just why not make us have a chase scene with him? I think it's cool. I don't think he would have much of a purpose other than that. Well, and I guess that's just cool. Now, my next one is, why not show the player's face? Now, I'm not saying like the actual game of the player's face. Why not, some point maybe, build him up and then they can end up showing the player's face. I think that's cool. Why not bring someone like the player? I don't think they should, bring in the actual player, but bring in someone else, and then at some point they could show the player's face, or they just don't show the player's face at all until like the time is right, maybe like in the second or third movie, and then they could just, finally show it. Now my next one is Elliot Ludwig. Why not bring him in and make the player face off, just like a little fist fight. Other than that, and there's nothing else I could see him having a big role. Maybe he could end up controlling one of the experiments to try to kill us, the player. And yeah, I think that's a good way to show in the movie. Now this time, I think we should get Pianosaurus. He didn't get much screen time in the actual game. Maybe give him a bit of screen time in the movies. I mean, why not? Other than him getting a chase scene, there's no other purpose for him to have. Yeah, that's the only purpose I could see him having other than a chase scene. Now, the Nightmare Critters, yeah, they could just be there for I don't know, it's just side characters, maybe being a little annoying to the player. Yeah, that's probably the only purpose, just being annoying. Maybe they could end up trying to chase the player and, maybe somehow overpowering him, being annoying, stuff like that. I don't think there's much that they could do in the movies. Depending how these movies are gonna go, I could really see Catnap maybe being a side character other than the main villain. He could still be the main villain, but other than that, there's Catnap could still be, the one to just try to kill you. Other than that, he might still, just be a side character. Now, these are probably the most important characters so far is Dowie and the prototype. I think this is a good opportunity to show Dowie and the prototype because I think they could end up showing Dowie to face off the prototype probably in the last movie. And I think that's the best way to show like a big boss fight. Just to show Dowie and the prototype to face off. And then maybe it's not going to be necessarily the only reason the prototype gets defeated. But Dowie can end up, completely destroying him. And then at some point they can end up, crushing him with something. This time maybe just to, just, destroy the prototype just like how we have destroyed him in the game, or just how we destroyed Dowie in the game. Just reverse the role, sort of. Yeah, and I think that's cool. I don't see why not. If you guys have any other way to destroy the prototype in a movie, I would like to see your guys' opinions, comment down below, and let me see. Now I'm gonna go over to the characters that should not appear in the movies. Now, my first one is Dog Day, He serves no other purpose other than just having chase scene. I mean, we already have enough chase scenes from the last I Have Said. But other than that, I don't think there's any other purpose for him. And now, the mini Huggies. Yeah, I don't think there's much other than these characters, they're planning to, team up with us. There's no other purpose for them to, be there. And now Yarnaby, I mean, he could work, but, maybe he could end up, I guess you could say our little pet to help us. But other than that, I highly doubt they're gonna go with a plot like that. I don't think that's much of use. I mean, they could go for it, but I don't know. It just doesn't really seem like something they would do. But if you guys think that's cool, I would like to know. And now Mr. Light, Mrs. Light, other than showing her weakness, there's really no other thing they could show from her. There's really nothing else. I don't see any other purpose for her other than, just showing her that. And I don't think they should waste time on her and, just showing what she can do or any of that. I don't think there's no point on that. Now, Pug-a-Pillar. I mean, other than a, chase or fight scene, I've already said enough. There's just no point. At that point, the movie's just gonna be full of chase or fight scenes. They should really, yeah, obviously there should be, but they should focus on what the prototype is and on characters that really do matter in the game, There's no point in bringing characters that serve no purpose other than just chase scenes, just pure chase scenes. They should not focus a lot on chase scenes. They should mainly focus on characters that, that bring a lot to the table. And now for this next one, it might be very controversial, and you guys might not agree. And I tried to put a thought into it, but Chum, yeah, he might not be able to. He might, be, our little helper. But other than that, there's really no point on bringing him into the movie other than him just helping us. I mean, maybe Dowie could be the one to literally just help us the whole time, unless they're planning on killing him off. Yeah, and I think there's not much purpose for him in there. I mean, that could be his purpose, but I just don't know. He just seems very, hard to put into a movie. If you guys think he's good, I would like to know. But other than, maybe, Giblet and, other characters that help us, I don't think I had to mention Poppy, I mean, of course she's gonna be in there, but other than that, there's really not that much to put Chum in there. It's one that's just very hard to, include in these movies. I don't know, it's just something for me to decide if I would want to see him in there. But would you guys like to see him in there? It's very hard for me to, decide if he would like to be in there. If you guys think he's cool and maybe what kind of role he would put in, I would like to know. And also Poppy, I mean, I don't think I have to mention her at all. I mean, of course she's gonna be in there, but the only thing I wonder is how she gonna look in the movie, just her appearance alone. I really wonder how she's gonna look other than that. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of for Poppy. Mind you, I believe they're only gonna do 3 movies, and that's why I'm sure they're gonna have to limit their characters by a lot. But who do you guys think should be and that shouldn't be in there? I would like to know if you guys think any other characters that should or shouldn't. And if you guys think there are big roles for him, I would like to know.